It doesn't take long when looking at my YouTube channel or my Instagram that I primarily do portrait photography. And that's because I just like portrait photography probably the most out of any other genre. I am quite fond of street photography, or at least I used to be. I'm not really that into it that much anymore. But I never really do landscape photography. However, within the past couple months, I have been wanting to, give landscape photography a go for a few different reasons, but I never really just done it because, I always found portrait photography easier, I liked the photos more, and, I obviously have tried to do landscape photography in the past, but the photos were all just a bit, meh. But now that I finished uni and a lot of my uni mates are back home, hundreds of miles away, I haven't really had that many people to photograph or even that many things to do since, a lot of my life was revolving around my university work, and I was primarily taking photos for projects, and those projects involved people. But like I said, now that university has ended, I don't really have many people to take photos of. I mainly just take photos of my family and my girlfriend Jen. And another problem is all but one of my friends that I, knew before university, around my area, they've all moved away apart from one of them who is constantly at work and doesn't really like his photo being taken. So even though I'm a portrait photographer, I don't have many people to take photos of. And while I'm in an environment like Cornwall, which is just so scenic, whoa, there is a hawk that just flew past. Oh my God, that was so cool. It was chasing a little tiny bird. That was so cool. Anyway, while I'm in a place like Cornwall, I know I'm always here, but while I'm in, such scenic place as Cornwall, I thought I'd give landscape photography a go, or my version of landscape photography, because I'm not really that into super beautiful landscapes. I'm into the more chilled out, mundane sort of landscapes where, I'll take a photo of, just a wall that looks nice or a building that looks nice, rather than this amazing coastline, these mountains and stuff. I would like to be able to take photos like that, but my mind doesn't work in those ways. However, when I look at places like where I am right now, which is Botallack, I feel quite inspired to take photos of the area. And I'm going to be doing that today with this, which is my Fujifilm GFX 50S. And I don't have the Mitigon 65mm 1.4 on it for once. I actually have this Mamiya 45mm f2.8, which I have barely used since buying it. But I really want to use it more, and I want to take more photos, so it seems perfect to use it on a day like today. And that's another thing, is I like landscapes with very moody lighting. I like the clouds to be, overcast or even rainy and stormy, and I like the colours to be quite cold. I'm not too big of a fan of warm, really nice lighting landscapes. I just find that they're a bit boring. They're like postcard photos and that's it. And that's the problem with a lot of landscape photography here in Cornwall, is it all just is postcard photos because they are literally being made for postcards since it's a very popular tourist destination. But what I'm going to be doing is, I hope, different to that, because I'm not really into that type of photography like I've mentioned a million times now. But that's what I'm going to be doing today. I decided to come out to Botallack just after work, so, I'm quite tired and a bit run down, but I'm hoping to create some nice images. I'm here with Jen. She has gone off to take photos somewhere, and yeah, I guess we'll just continue with this video. I think the first shot is going to be this here, of this, I guess it is an elevator thing. That's usually what these things are. They're like a pulley system to allow the miners to go down into the mines, and also this chimney stack. There's a lot of these around Cornwall, and I really like the idea of creating a project around the mining culture in Cornwall. It's something that is just seems really easy to do in a place like this, but like I said, I'm not very good at landscape photography, and it's definitely something that I want to get better at. I don't really know how to do a project like this. I want to research into, the mining history and the mining culture, but photographic-wise, I'm not sure how I want it to look, but there isn't a better way to see how you want things to look than just giving it a go. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my first photo. It's probably going to be absolutely terrible, but I'm hoping it's quite nice. So I'm going to go to f11. Oh, that's very dark. The problem with using an adaptive vintage lens on a camera like this, you can't really tell what your exposure is going to be half the time because it looks overexposed, and then you take the photo and you're like, oh, that actually wasn't overexposed. Whoa, this ground's really soft. I can imagine being higher up would create a nice image. I've got my boots on today, which is an unintentionally good idea just in case there are adders about, which is unlikely because it's quite cold. There are quite a few adders in Cornwall, so good idea. So this is my problem with landscape photography, is I'm taking images and I think they might look good, but as soon as I take them, they just don't look very good. I think my problem is I need to be higher up. Oh, that looks quite nice actually. I also would like a wider angle lens, because this is a 35mm equivalent, but I think a 28mm equivalent would be perfect for the type of images that I want to create around the mine. See, this is what I really struggle with. I just don't know landscape compositions. Like, obviously I know compositions themselves, but actually trying to do them, I just find it really, really difficult. And I think that's probably the thing that I struggle most with about landscape photography, is creating a good composition. Like, I can find the subject quite easily and I can think of like a good way to show it, but then actually doing that, like the practical work, is what I really struggle with. The waves are super rough right now. Oh, I need to get down there. I want to get some rough wave photos. I have a feeling this composition over here. Oh, there's a nice image over there actually. But first, I have a feeling this one here could be quite nice. Once again, I don't know how to compose it. That's the thing that I struggle with. Like, I see this image here with the nice stone wall, the house in the background, and then the electricity pylon thing. And I think it create a nice image, but whenever I try and take images that are landscape, I just suck at it. But I can still give it a go. So I don't know how to compose this image. I should try going up higher. Yeah, but then the composition changes and it just doesn't look as good. I need a longer lens. This looks quite nice. This isn't too bad. That could be quite a nice image. Maybe if I go closer, include less in the scene. The bird that was in the shot just flew away, but I may as well still take the photo. I think it looks quite nice. Maybe a zoom lens would actually be really good for me, because I struggle with my compositions, and I think, see, I don't know. So I don't know how to tell if my image is good or not. See, another thing is I also really struggle with apertures that are high, because I like to just create separation in my images. But I find that with a lot of landscape images and the images that I want to create, there has to be a very wide depth of field. So like everything needs to be in focus. I don't want to do that because it makes it more difficult for me. But I guess that's just something that I have to learn, because I thought that would be a nice image. I took the image, I don't like it. I guess I'll see when I get back home and see if I feel any different about them. But I am actually quite excited about the image just over there, which I'll pan the camera to, because I quite like how it looks. Just that area over there, I think that could create quite a nice image. Maybe even, like, I keep setting up the camera in ways where I actually like the images in my my video camera, but as soon as I try and take them with this one, I don't like them. That could potentially be my first real nice image. What are we thinking about the new setup? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Personally, I think it's probably the best setup I've ever had. I think it's really nice. Anyway, I just thought I'd pop in and talk about some stuff here, rather than wait and talk about it at the end, since I think this is a good point to just talk about this stuff. And the first thing I want to say is I actually quite like a few of the photos that I took this day. Like I mentioned a minute ago when I said that I may change my mind about the photos when I get home, I done just that. When I was out and actually taking photos and I was just reviewing them on the LCD screen, I had no confidence in me whatsoever that they were going to be any good. But once I had them up on my computer screen, I was so much happier with them. I was especially happy with the photo that I took just before I cut away. Like, even though I was being quite negative when I was out shooting, when I took this photo, I was pretty confident that it was going to be quite decent. And I think it's probably my favourite photo from the day. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be, and I think I've done quite well with this photo for just like, you know, how it looks, and also for the type of photos that I wanted to be taking that day. I think I nailed that with this photo here. Anyway, now that I've shown you that image and just spoke about those things, you can go back to watch me ramble and beat myself up about my photography. See, this right here has the potential to be a very nice image if it was taken by Kyle McDougall, but I think I'm going to butcher it and make it look like shit. Actually, you know what? This is a very James Pops, this type of photo, and I think my type of landscape photography that I like is very similar to him, since I like very human aspects in landscape photos. I don't really like just naturey photos. I think I like humanistic landscapes rather than natural landscapes. I'm going to try and take this photo. Probably going to fuck it up though. This could also be quite nice. See, like, this is just such a perfect image, but it doesn't fill the frame. Oh, portrait orientation works quite well though. See, it's just boring. I'm just shit at landscape photography. Pretty sure there's birds that are living in the place that's behind the camera, because they're really loud. Oh yeah, they are. Oh, it's a Cornish chuff. Turn the camera around and see this guy. Look at them up there. God, he's loud. So after getting a couple photos of the boat in a few different ways, I just decided to finish the video there, mainly due to the weather getting worse, but also because I was feeling more and more down about the work that I created. I beat myself up about the images so much that I just wanted to finish the video there and just potentially scrap it. So I went back to the car, put my stuff away, and started filming for another video that I was really excited about making. I'm not sure if the video will be out before or after this one, but it was about the Lomography Lomograph 4x5 instant back, and I was just really excited to create some images with it. And even though the images that I captured weren't actually that good, the whole process just lifted my mood and made me want to give it another go and, you know, go out and take some more photos. And if you want to see those images, I've got them right here. I've got a little photo album for Instax wide, and here are the images here. So here's the first image that I took. It's of the same area where the boat was. I took it just in case I thought it would look better on Instax wide, and I do like this image better than the one that's similar to this, but the other image that I took that was a bit more close up, I do prefer that one over this one. And since I pretty much stayed in the same location for this whole video so far, I wanted to just go to a different area of Botallack and get a different photo. And that is when I got this one here. It's a bit difficult to see, but this one is of the mines, the engine houses that are on the cliff. It was a pain in the ass taking this photo since the weather was actually picking up a bit here, so it was a bit difficult to get this photo, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. And if you want to see more Instax wide images that are shot on the Lomograph lock, I'll put the link up here or up there if the video is out, but if it isn't out, then just stay tuned as it won't be long. But anyway, as I was saying, I went out to get more photos using the GFX, and thankfully as I was done shooting the Lomograph lock, the weather cleared up quite quickly, so I wasn't having to worry about rain. But anyway, with my mood lifted, I picked up the GFX and dragged Jen along with me so she could film, and we took some more photos. Right, so I think this composition could be quite nice. I would really like to have it in like a landscape orientation, but it just doesn't fit in the frame because this 35mm equivalent just isn't wide enough. I reckon I'll probably have to have like a 28mm or wider to actually get this in the frame, but I reckon portrait orientation could work. It doesn't look too bad. I might actually try and get up the slope a little bit. So The composition isn't too bad, I actually quite like it. I think this might actually be one of the best photos from today. It just looks a bit boring though. I think maybe going wide open and allowing that depth of field to happen might actually be better. Because obviously my photography is very depth of field heavy because I really like that. And I think shooting landscapes where I'm prioritizing getting everything in focus isn't the way to go for me, since that isn't how I shoot. So I think I might try and shoot some landscapes now the way I would shoot portraits and keep it like the aperture shallow and keep the composition quite minimal. But one thing I am liking is including a bunch of shapes, because we've got, if you pan over here, you've got a bunch of like ovals where these like fit, where this, I guess, archways go into the ground. And I think that creates quite a nice, I don't know, like section of the image where it's just shapes and then a big long one. So I could probably actually make it look like a penis with 2 balls and a penis. I'm gonna try that. I've made it 2 balls and a penis. And that actually looks really nice. Right, so I think this composition could look quite nice. It's just very basic, but I think that's what I'm kind of liking today. It's just very simple compositions with not much in them. Like this, oh, actually, portrait orientation looks great. So yeah, I wish this lens would go below f2.8. I think maybe like a f2 or an f1.4 would be a lot better for a lot of these images, because I think that's the type of landscape photography that I like, is still shallow depth of field, because I like the separation and the 3D pop that it has. I think a lot of images that are shot at like f8 to f16 aren't really my type of thing, apart from Carl McDougall's photos, because he's just like the best photographer ever. But see, if I was taller, this would be perfect. If I was up that wall, I'm up the wall. I'm so bad at taking photos. After taking that photo, I walked down the cliff and got my second to last photo of the day. Me and Jen then left and called it a day, as it began getting quite cold and the light was fading quite fast. And a day later, I looked through the images and I was pleasantly surprised. I ended up liking a few of them quite a bit. I did definitely end up capturing quite a few stinkers, but for how negative I was on the day, I'm really happy with just the few images that I have. I'm definitely going to go out and get some landscape photos a lot more, and I may even make this little mining thing into a personal project and just see where it goes. And if you would like to see more of these types of videos, let me know in the comments below, as I would love to hear some feedback. Anyway, this video is already super long and I don't really have anything else to talk about, so I'm going to end it here. If you have enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate a like and a comment, and if you haven't already, then please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.